Primeau fan.
Thank you for having me.
Your fans are like...
What an honor to be here, Pete. You're a legend. You're a rock star.
I'm a legend in my own mind, said my wife.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I'm Mr. Selling from the Heart. What's this guy, Larry Levine, going to teach me about selling from the heart?
You are one of the most generous and authentic people around. And I think that's why you and your show are so attractive to people.
Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 290, and it's going to be Ask Pete. Your live questions will go to the very top, and we will ask those first, or I should say my fabulous producer, Chris Stone, will ask those first. I'm going to sit back here and do nothing as soon as I pay the bills really quickly. If you haven't bought my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? I'm sorry that it sounds like a sales book. It's not. It is a business and marketing book. Best compliment I ever got on this from Doug Stewart. Take the word furniture and mattress out of the book. It's a great marketing and a great business book. If you want a sales book, I have one of those. And I had a few of my friends help me. Miles and miles of retail selling greatness. Here are a few of my friends that wrote chapters in this book. Jeff Giannakovo, Steve Carnes, Brent Batterman, Justin Trumbo, Jonathan DePrenzio, Chris Tahaney, Mark Klingenberg, Mel Opp, Keith Cassinguy, the incredible Scott Vaughn, and the adjustable bed guru, Randy Thompson. If you need to do a sales meeting every week and you don't often have a topic to discuss, grab my book. Chapters are small. You got 3 years of sales meetings in that book for under $20. So grab it on Amazon. And if I can be helpful in any way, implementing anything in either one of my books, call me at 419-560-3169. I will help you implement anything in either one of those books. And I think we got to pay the bills, and then I get to do nothing. Thank you to my friends for sponsoring the show. Steve and Greg, I appreciate your support. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry, it's changing fast. Join this free Facebook group. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress industry, this is the group for you. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a store owner, come on in. If you are a VP of sales, come on in. If you are a owner of a manufacturing company, come on in. If you are a sales pro who works the retail floor, come on in. Everybody is welcome who is in the mattress industry group. So thank you, Steve. Thank you, Greg. Join that group. Hit that QR code. It's 100% free. I get in there a couple times a week, even when I'm running like a crazy man, which is usual. So Mattress RSA, this is a project near and dear to my heart. Chris Tahaney is putting together a book that elevates our industry. It shows success stories to our customers. It will be customer facing, and it'll be industry facing too. So if you have a sales pro who has done some incredible work and is getting customers to rave about it, just write it up, send it into Chris at mattressrsastories@gmail.com. If it's not the best writing in the world, and you can just say, Chris, I'm not a great writer. Here's what I wrote up. Feel free to change it. He'll change it around. He's a great writer, by the way. He will send it back to you for your final approval. And if it's chosen, it'll be in the book. So, guys, gals, get behind this. Our customers need to know the good work that we do. So, without a further to do, please support Chris on that project. And if you are in the mattress industry and you know there's more to life than what you're getting out of it, basically, you have a job and you're the owner and everything else. There's more to life than just being the owner of a store. And you want to create a business that has autonomy for you. Doesn't matter if you're a single store retailer, a multi-store retailer, mattress store, furniture store. Even if you're an influencer, an industry leader, we want you in this group. I belong in the group. All my friends that are reps, you should be in this group. You're going to learn a lot that's going to help your dealers. Hit that QR code. I think it gets you 1 month free in addition to the lowest price that's available. So join Mattress Retailer Toolkit. Mike Capuzzi and Jeff Janakovo do a great job with this group, and you should be in it. And I think it's like under $100 a month. It's super cheap, and what you get is literally thousands and thousands of dollars of value every month. You get live trainings, you get all kinds of goodies that will help you be a better businessman or woman and run a better business for your customers and for yourself, and your employees will benefit too. So everybody will be happier. Chris, is that all we got?
I think that covers it off, Pete. Pete Primeau, as I live and breathe in the flesh. This is not AI Pete, ladies and gentlemen. This is real Pete Primeau. So
No.
get your questions in. And, the rules for Ask Pete, if this is your first time watching the show and listening to the show, welcome in. Let us know where you're joining us from in the chat. If you're a mattress in the mattress industry, let us know. We get new viewers and listeners, it seems, every week, Pete. So that's always fun. But the rules here for Ask Pete are, if you're in the chat and you've got a question, you take precedent. And so we're going to throw you right to the front of the line. But, if you don't have the guts to ask a question, that's okay. We got plenty of questions here, and we never get through all of them, Pete. Unfortunately.
No, we don't. We never do.
Those are nice problems to have. Those are
what you got? You got one there for me?
Oh, we want to get right into it. Let's get right into it. This is from Concerned and Confused in Georgia.
Okay.
Pete, thank you.
That's your neck of the woods.
That is. Is this me? No, it's not me. Pete, thank you for consistently keeping it real. Business is not great, as you know. Some of my lines leadership are literally losing their minds. I have desk jockeys who manage spreadsheets and can't sell, period. How do I survive these idiots? Wow. Okay. All right. This does sound like my neck of the woods, Pete. Also, I have a couple of lines whose leadership is excellent. How do I manage my time between these lines?
That's a great question. I'm glad that we came up with a creative way to hide your name, and I'm glad that you asked that, because that shows good discernment and judgment on your part. Concerned and Confused in Georgia. I'm assuming you might have 4, maybe 5 lines. I hope you don't have too much more than that, because more than that's super hard to handle. I don't know exactly what you mean by leadership is losing their mind. Feel free to text me at 419-560-3169. I don't want you chiming in on Facebook or LinkedIn. I don't want you to do that. But I think I have a sneaking suspicion what you're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to answer this. And it's going to be super simple. So I've had this situation. As a matter of fact, I love this line so much they're out of business, and I'm still wearing their shirts. Um, I was with these guys for, I don't know, 10, 11 years, and loved them to the day they closed the doors. And um, so as a 1099 rep, we're going to be exposed to all different kinds of leadership, really great leadership, and really some bad leadership. And when I hear this thing about desk jockeys who manage spreadsheets, and the way I say it is they can't sell their way out of a paper bag. The reason they ended up being a manager is they couldn't make it as a salesman, right?
Ooh, yeah.
And there are those guys out there, guys and gals.
Some salespeople aren't great managers either.
Yeah, and that's true as well. So the easiest bit of advice that I can give you on this is don't spend too much time with the guys that are acting like idiots. Try to minimize your interaction with them. And you mentioned that you had a couple of lines with excellent leadership. Pour yourself into those. Pour yourself where you feel like your voice is being heard and they're really trying to serve your customers. You pour yourself into that and give them an extraordinary amount of your time, and just try to avoid the other lines, and it will take care of itself one way or another over time. I would love to get more in depth on what acting like an idiot constitutes. This is one thing that I always tell my 1099 reps. If you came from management and now you're a 1099, you probably have a really good way of managing your managers, right? Because you have to manage your managers. If you came from a company rep position, you may not have some of that grounding and understanding. So number one, remember that you are in a for-profit business. All right. As a 1099 rep, you give the lines time and attention who deserve it, who earn it, who do a great job for your customers. And that is how you actually manage your time. So that kind of surviving these idiots and managing your time between the lines, it almost kind of goes into one answer. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, just call me at 419-560-3169. I'd love to help you. Love to help you.
All
Chris,
right.
what are your thoughts? I'm probably the least successful of your clients. You deal with some super heavy hitters in your business. What's your reaction to this?
In terms of like,
what advice would you give concerned and confused in Georgia? How do I survive these idiots, and how do I manage my time between these lines?
So these lines would be like, you're making the correlation between me and my clients and my other clients, and maybe are you saying that maybe some of my clients are idiots? Is that or should I?
No. Based on everything I said, what advice would you give him?
I guess I'd need to understand exactly what, because I'm a little bit confused in terms of what this person means. That lines leadership are losing their minds. Like, can you explain to me what that means?
Well, when they say managing spreadsheets and can't sell, two visions go off in my head. One is they're looking at number, the sales manager is looking at the number, but the sales manager is unwilling to get in a car and go sell to the retailers with the salesman. I've always said that the best way to get a salesperson's attention is to go make a sale that he or she doesn't think is possible, make it right in front of them, and they'll start to respect you as somebody who can sell, and they will start to listen to your ideas on sales. And they'll get you involved when they need to get you involved because they know you will win the sale for them.
Well, I think in a lot of cases, in terms of that, in terms of sales, I think people have to get used to being comfortable by being uncomfortable. So like you can't if you want to be better at whatever you do, if you know, even if you're in a job that you don't necessarily love or whatever, you've got to, in order for you to grow, you've got to get yourself into and force yourself into some uncomfortable situations. And selling is for a lot of people, they're just like, you know, and until they actually have a positive experience, which doesn't happen every time, right? You got to step back into the batter's box. I know there's a lot of sports analogies that we talk about. Until you finally get that positive sort of affirmation of, hey, I made a sale. I actually helped this person sleep better. I actually helped this person become better, and I felt really good about that. And then go and then use that as inspiration for the next one, and then learn through all of those things. And I think a lot of people, it's too safe for them. They're not willing to put themselves into an uncomfortable situation. Get out from behind the desk, get out from behind the spreadsheets, out from behind ChatGPT, out from behind the TikTok scrolling, and actually have some face-to-face, as you call it, belly-to-belly conversations with people. And, you know, our friend Dan Jordan would talk about this all the time. If you want to be a better salesperson, first be a better person. And so sometimes selling isn't about actually making a sale. Actually, it's making a friend, right? And so if you think about it more like that, then I think it's not as hard as you think it is when you start, you know, with that kind of mindset. I don't know if that helps, you know, answer the question you threw me there, Pete. But I guess I'm not understanding necessarily, you know, lines, leadership, that sort of mattress industry jargon.
Yeah. So he or she has multiple lines. Some of my lines, leadership, are literally losing their minds, so they're behaving badly.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of my lines, leadership is excellent. So he wants to know how to divide his time. And my overly simple answer is spend more time with the excellent leadership.
Right. Okay. So this person is out selling, and they're selling these lines to
retailers.
Got it. Okay. That's where I was like, I wasn't understanding exactly what that person meant. And, you know,
no worries.
1099 rep versus all of that kind of stuff. So
1099 means you pay your own expenses.
Right.
You pay your own you there is no floor. There is no salary. You're in business for yourself.
Got it.
So, all right, everybody, we are live. If you got a question and it's important, ask. Chris will bring you to the top of the line.
All right, this one's from Scared in Oklahoma. Hi, Pete. I'm an independent rep like you. Many of my dealers are having a tough time, and their business is substantially down along with my income. I'm afraid I don't have the income to travel. I don't want to quit. It took me years to build what I have, and I believe it will come back. What would you do if you were me? That's Scared in Oklahoma.
Wow. That's a great question. And there's a lot of folks in your position right now, Scared in Oklahoma. So I've been in this position where you don't have enough money to travel as much as you'd like. I would basically travel for a week, and then I'd be stuck in my house for 3 weeks because I had run out of money. Once in a while, I could travel for 2 weeks, but then the last 2 weeks of the month, I'd have to be inside my house. When this happened, I had a fax machine at the beginning. I didn't even have a computer. So today there's a lot more tools, right? There was no Zoom when this happened in my career. And I'm going to tell you what happened for me. And I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I got really, really good on the phone because that was the primary mode of communication. Just picking up the phone, calling dealers. And I'll never forget my partner, Nick Marcos. He's been my partner for 21 years, I believe. 21 years. Wow. Time flies. And he was a competitor at this point in time. So this is, a long time ago. And he talks to a dealer and he finds out that the dealer hasn't seen me like in months. And, he starts pushing on it. Well, how do you feel about that? Do you feel ignored? Blah, blah, blah. And he's pushing all over the place. He's like, no, I love Pete. Pete's my best rep I have. How can he be the best rep you have and you don't even see him? Because I talk to him almost every day. He goes, he knows more about this industry than any other rep. Trust me, he's the best. And this happened to then he goes to another dealer, same scenario. Hey, when's the last time you saw Pete? I saw him a few months ago. Well, how does that make you feel? I feel great. Why? Well, don't you think he should see you more often? He goes, oh no, if I need him, he's there in a heartbeat. And besides, I talk to him every week. And the same thing goes on. He's like the best rep I got. And so Nick was like beating his head against the wall. He thought, oh man, I found this guy's Achilles heel. I want to scoop some business from him. And he couldn't. So this is what I'm going to say to you, Scared in Oklahoma. You can do more business today than over 20 years ago without going into the store. You've got Chat GPT. You've got social media. You have computers. You can do so much research. You do have to eventually get into the stores, and hopefully you've been in all the stores. And now, like, the financial end of it is kind of driving you almost off the road, and you're trying to figure out a way to hang on. So here's how you hang on. Pick up the phone and use the phone. Call every dealer every week and stay in touch with them so that they never forget. Bring value to them. Stay in touch. Stay relevant. Stay up on what's happening. This is not a time for you to pull back. So just because you physically can't be there belly to belly doesn't mean that you can't have great conversations on the phone. Doesn't mean you can't have great Zoom calls with these dealers. Doesn't mean that you can't get great intel from other reps about what's going on at a dealer or two or three or four or 20 for that matter. Use every resource that you have. If what I heard is I don't want to quit. It took me years to build.
Yeah.
And I believe it will come back. I believe it will come back too. So do everything you can to survive this, but not just to survive this, but to thrive, to actually be a better rep and have more contact with your dealer. And don't forget this is something I've been teaching reps for the better part of 30 years now. For you to assume that you have contact with the furniture buyer or the mattress buyer and that's good enough, that's wrong. Here's why it's wrong. You need more intel than that. You need a relationship with the girl that answers the phone. You need relationships with those sales pros that work the retail floor. You need to have a relationship with the warehouse manager and the warehouse guys. So make sure that you're touching all of these different points at an account, and you will know what's going on at that account. So if you have any questions about this and you want to go into a little bit more detail with me, just call me at 419-560-3169. I'm happy to help in any way I can. And guys, gals out there, we're live. So if you got a question, I know a lot of my friends are at Brand Source, and just a shout out to RJ Williams, Chad Fisher, Jeff Janakovo, and Gordon Hack. I know why you're not on here right now. You're in Vegas and you're doing your thing at Brand Source. So you guys have a great event, and I can't wait to hear about all the cool things.
Well, Pete, speaking of friends, and I don't know, this is kind of crazy. So I'm going to ask this person. I brought this person up earlier on today's show, and he's now in the chat asking a question. So this question is from the Sales Energizer, the Deej, Dan Jordan, who's joined us here in the chat. You want to talk about somebody who's got guts. So hopefully there'll be other people in the chat that have the guts like Dan has. So Dan Jordan, what is up, my friend? He's got a question for you, Pete. Just imagine his arms in the air asking this question. Hey, Pete, do you suggest leaving messages if you can't get them on the phone?
Yes, 100% yes. But don't leave any old message. Leave a message that is relevant and piques curiosity, especially if you're cold calling.
Yeah.
If it's a current dealer, you definitely should know what to say and do, make a joke, whatever. Listen, I will tell you this. I have gotten on the phone for the first time after leaving 10, 20 messages with somebody. My biggest dealer I ever opened up, it was no less than 100 messages. No less than 100 messages. It could have been 200. It took me over 2 years to get the first conversation. And so it has to be relevant. It has to pique curiosity, and it has to demonstrate a level of competence that, like, you know what's going on in the industry, Dan. So that's a great question. I think it was Mike Weinberg who wrote about that in one of his books. I think it was in his prospecting book.
Yeah.
That Mike wrote about that yes, you can actually build a relationship by leaving really good, thought-provoking messages that show a level of competence, that show a level of curiosity. It makes the dealer curious to have more of a conversation with you. It can't be the regular puking on somebody. Hey, I represent line blah, 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 and they're the greatest, and you should have it. No, none of that garbage.
That's find you well.
Yeah, that's garbage. So, Dan, thank you. That was a great question.
Yeah, Victor Antonio, who we both know, his outgoing voicemail is, so if you call Victor and he doesn't pick up, you're going to get a message saying, "Hey, you've reached Victor Antonio," or whatever. And he says, you can leave a message after the beep, but it needs to be compelling. And then he says something else, and then at the very end he goes, "Remember, make it compelling." Now, if you're someone who's calling him for the first time and you're trying to maybe, I don't know, produce his podcast, even though he has an existing podcast producer, or you're trying to sell him a mattress, whatever, I tell you what, that'll make you like maybe hang up and call back, right? Because, okay, maybe what I had to say wasn't compelling, but, to your point, you can't just leave the same message as everybody else. Everybody's jumping to AI. Everybody's using all of these things. And those things will give you like ideas and concepts, but they'll also, like, everyone else is doing that. What are you doing to set yourself apart besides, going to ChatGPT or going to, Claude or any of these LLMs? Are you doing something creative? You mentioned, Pete, making an inside joke. Well, if you're cold calling, you don't have an inside joke because you don't really know. But are you doing a little research? Or are you just like, do you have something, even if you don't know that person, do you have something that will make them kind of go, what? Who? I don't know. I kind of like this guy, or I kind of like this gal. Like that was not the same old voicemail that I get from everybody else. So Dan, appreciate you joining. And he says, 100 messages, you are a beast, Pete. And that is high. That's compliments from the man who's made more calls and has worn out more phones. And then, okay, so this is it. This is the other thing. We're getting some training here in the chat now. All
right, Dan, let us have it.
The 7 magic words are, I wonder if you can help me. Dan, you got to be proud of me for knowing that. You got to be proud that I remember that. So I wonder if you could help me. Because I think people naturally want to help, right? So if you walk up to somebody in Home Depot and you're looking for a wrench or, something very specific, I wonder if you could help me. People will automatically go, yeah, I can, yeah, this is but that's it. That's their job, right? But imagine if you're approaching someone, you say, I wonder if you could help me. Mm-hmm. And then ask them the question. You got to be ready to have what's after that, right?
Yep. Yeah, don't sound like a salesman right after that,
right,
because
right.
that you've got them open and you got their curiosity up. They're listening now. Yep. Now you have to demonstrate a little bit of competence and restraint at the same time.
That's right. All right.
Very good. Thank you, Dan.
Good to hear from the Deej.
And thank you, Chris.
For the 7 magic words, I can't believe I remember. I've done enough shows with Dan and been around Dan long enough that I definitely remember that. It only took 400 shows or something like that. All right. So next question we have is from Hopeful in Arizona. Hopeful says, hey, Pete, I own several furniture stores in central Pennsylvania. Labor Day is around the corner. Many of us are hopeful for a big Labor Day event. You seem to be plugged in. What are your thoughts? Any advice on making sure we maximize the holiday? That's from Hopeful in Arizona.
Yeah, most stores are breaking their sales sometime this week. And, it's essentially a month-long event. So I definitely have some ideas. Number one, because it's a month-long event now, and it's not a, years and years, many years ago, it was a 3 or a 4-day event. Right now, these sale periods get dragged out. So have your retail salespeople ready for additional traffic, but understand this is more of a marathon than a sprint. Even though you are going to be going faster than normal, God willing, that the ads break. What are my thoughts? I hope it's a great Labor Day. July 4th was kind of the tale of two cities. There were some big guys who really went after it, who did a nice job. Mm-hmm. A few that didn't quite make their numbers. And then there were retailers who don't even go after the holiday, and obviously they didn't do any business to speak of. So it was the haves and have-nots. And Memorial Day was the same way. I anticipate Labor Day will be good. I think it'll be strong. But everything this year has been a little bit herky-jerky and not feeling super solid under our feet. So some additional things, some thoughts, Hopeful. Because of the nature of craziness in the world, you never know what's going to hit when. And I know that your advertising's put to bed, but I'm a big believer in guerrilla tactics, and I don't care how big you are. I'm a big believer in your salespeople call in their previous customers and say, hey, we're having a Labor Day sale, and if you're going to need anything, you know, I'm a big believer, and you don't start off talking about your Labor Day sale. You start off with a check-in. Hey, you bought some furniture from me a year ago, and I was, I know I checked with you a couple months after, and I know I checked with you a few days after the delivery. It seems like everything's good. I'm just calling to make sure everything's okay, and let them talk, and then let them know, if they don't mention anything, that you've got a Labor Day sale and you would appreciate their referral. I mean, ask them if they say everything's okay, ask them for a referral. And what you're really doing is asking them for their business, and they're like, well, maybe I need something, right? And so any possible way that's low cost or no cost, look at it as an insurance policy that kind of surrounds the paid media advertising. So sign holders, referral programs, your salespeople dial in for dollars, anything and everything that you can do. Now, just a couple of helpful hints. I go to great pains in my books to talk about this. You must have consistency between your advertising message, your display, and even what your parking lot looks like. So when Mrs. Jones is going to see an advertisement, maybe on Facebook, maybe on Instagram, you pick your social media, that maybe on TikTok, she's going to see an ad, and then she's going to go to your website. Your website needs to be consistent with that ad. They should look similar. When they pull into your parking lot, it should not feel foreign. It should not feel different. The parking lot should be a reflection exactly of what was on the website, exactly what's been in some of those ads. And when they first walk into your door, it needs to be very, very consistent with the messaging that you've put out. If you don't have consistency there, you're going to have a problem. Now, one of the things that I love spending a few $100s on helium balloons of all different colors and just jazzing the place up a little bit. But feature fresh photos in your social media so it's not a surprise when they come in. Make it look like something's happening, because something is happening. And really, really support your salespeople during this time. Should you support your salespeople every day, 365 days a year? Yes. But during sale periods, you especially have to make sure your salespeople are comfortable and that they have everything they need to win. And sometimes you go in the extra mile and helping them out a little bit. And even maybe, you jumping in and helping. You see that they've got another customer, but there's a customer pickup. Say, hey, I'm going to get that customer pickup for you. You get that, go get that customer and help. Be a helper to your sales people. I think that's a big deal. There's nothing more powerful than ownership and management supporting on the sales floor. So if you're living in an ivory tower, get out of the damn ivory tower for the next month. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Anything you got, Chris, on that one?
When you touched on, having your storefront be similar to your website and your social media. And, the first two stores that come to mind are Jacksonville Bedding, Mattresses, and More, because I actually went to Jacksonville for RJ and Tara's grand opening for there. And when I walked in that front door, I knew exactly I had seen it before. I had not seen it. I've not been there in that store before, but I had seen it before. The other store that comes to mind is Gardner's Mattress and More in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And if you go to their website, you see the store. You actually see it. So when you pull into the parking lot, you have seen it. When you look at their social media, if it's not like their podcast studio, and they're doing a podcast, but if you look at their social media, you've already been to the store. There's no surprises except you're actually physically being able to lay down on the mattresses, right? So I think those are two. I'm sure there are lots more that you could talk to, Pete, but it is absolutely important to be able to. That doesn't mean take a bunch of pictures of your store and post it. I think you got to get creative on social media while you're in the store, right? So people feel comfortable because they've already seen your TikToks, they've already seen the Instagram shots, they've already seen the reels and the all of that kind of stuff. I think it's super important. I would ask you this, Pete, following up on the question here from Hopeful in Arizona, and that is, there seems to be a lot of retailers that focus on, big sales holidays, as, and there's a reason for that. I'm sure business goes up when you do that. But the other thing that these mattress retailers do, especially the ones that are in MRT, they're not just looking at Labor Day. They're not just looking at Memorial Day. They're not just looking at the holidays and looking at that to maximize what they're doing. It's a 365, 7-day, a week kind of thing, not necessarily a sale, but if you go to Gardner's, they have their double deals that they run all year long. They have all of these things that are continuous. So how would you maybe suggest to retailers how they market these things year long that aren't necessarily holiday sales?
Boy, you just opened up a whole can of worms there.
I'm sorry.
No,
You
it's
put me in
great.
the seat. I'm going to ask. I'm going to put you.
No, this is super important. When we're talking about selling mattresses, we're talking about customers waking up happy and pain-free. We're talking about customers who can have happier lives because they're getting a good night's sleep and they're getting the kind of restorative the restorative benefits from a good night's sleep. And not only do people live longer, but they live happier because of what we do. And we need to, even though there's a sale going on, we need to always remind our salespeople, like, we make a difference in people's lives. You are the most important healthcare provider in your city because you have the keys to them getting a good night's sleep, which is more important than exercise, more important than nutrition. Nutrition is very important, but rest is the single most important out of all of those things. And any Olympic athlete will tell you that. And it doesn't matter if it's a gymnast or a weightlifter or a sprinter. They'll tell you that their exercise routine breaks their body down. Their nutrition gives them the building blocks to repair, but that repair happens at night when they're getting a good night's sleep. So that's super important.
Awesome. All right. Pete, we may make it through all these questions. It looks like, the chat's not as lively, but that's okay. We might make it through.
That's good.
This is from Excited in Florida. Hi, Pete. I'm so excited. Well, excited. It's doubly excited. I'm so excited. I finally graduated from a company rep to a 1099 rep. I gave my notice and was flattered that my previous employer made several attempts to keep me before accepting my resignation. I know that you started off as a company rep and were also a VP of sales before becoming a 1099 rep. What advice can you give me to help me have success as a 1099 rep? Excited in Florida.
That's a great question. Excited. And I'm excited for you. Excited in Florida. Um, so the first thing that I would say is congratulations. Now you are the owner of your own business. Hey, Scott Vaughn. Preach, brother Pete. Scott Vaughn says, Scott, thank you so much. I am preaching, aren't I? You got a question, Scott? Let us know what it is. So excited in Florida. You're in business for yourself. You have a sales business. Now, here's something that is super important. And what I told Jenny, my wife, over 20 years ago, before she came into my business, is we are a sales business. The most important thing that happens is a sale, and we treat our sale. Do you remember what was that movie with Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, and he's got his sale, and it, you got to treat that thing like the golden egg that it is. And nothing is more important than a sale, and nothing is more important than your dealers. Now, lines will come and lines will go. The lines that stay are the lines that treat your dealers well, okay, and are a positive reflection on you as a professional. When your lines are no longer a positive reflection on you as a professional, you have to get rid of them before you get tarred and feathered with their bad behavior. So, dealers are the most important thing in your life. When you're a company rep, you might have been, if you had some good training and smart executives at your place, you might have been told that they were important, but the way the company acted might have been a little bit different. Now, it's all or nothing. It is all about your dealer, all about your dealer. And yes, we want to have good relationships with our lines. You should never take a line just to have a line. You should um, treat your lines with respect and treat everybody that you come into contact, obviously, with respect. You wouldn't have gotten as far. You said something that was really important in your email. You said that they tried to keep you. That's super important, because when they try to keep you, you know that you've done your job well. Now, I hope and I pray that you are still in the same territory and that you have great relationships with your dealers, because you're about to find out that everything that you have done, let me just say, you've been a company rep for 10 years, is going to either come back to haunt you, or it's going to come back to reward you. And company reps out there, someday you're going to be a 1099 rep. And I laughed. I was told this years ago at a dinner full of dealers and full of reps. She goes, someday you're going to be a company rep. And I said, no, I don't think I'm ever going to be a company rep. Well, I mean, 1099 rep. I'm not going to become a 10. I'm always going to be a company rep, because people in my family, Chris, they got jobs at like places like GE and worked in that factory for the rest of their lives. That's what people did.
Yeah.
Like in my family, so you're in business for yourself. Dealers are the most important thing. And you're about to get rewarded for your exceptional service, or you're going to get punished for your lack of exceptional service. This has been pulling at me for a little bit here, Chris. So
What's that?
I'm gonna say, so, and we've talked about this often, I created this podcast for store owners, but along came a bunch of reps.
Yeah.
And I believe that the amount of reps and VPs of sales that watch this is bigger than actual store owners. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. You guys are going to have to give me a little bit of grace on this. But if you in Florida want to be mentored by me, I'm going to offer my services. It's not going to be for free. So, like, if you want free stuff, this is what you can do for free. Watch the Pete Primeau Show
Or listen.
or listen. And there's a Zoom call every Friday at 1:00, and that's free too. This would be something that's paid. Just text me at 419-560-3169. And I've toyed with the idea of doing some one-on-one mentoring. And I think I'm gonna make that available for a few people. So just do this. When you text me at 419-560-3169, just write in there, mentor me, Pete, just all small, doesn't matter. And just tell me your name and tell me some good times to call you back, and I'll call you back in the next few days. I was going to wait until I retire, Chris, before I started passing on some of the things that I've learned as a VP of sales twice and owning my own sales company. But the reality is I'm never going to retire. It's not going to happen. So my dealers, pathetically, in some ways, are my social life. They really are. They are my friends and dear friends
That's
of
not
mine that I
pathetic.
care
There's some
deeply
great people. Yeah.
about. But
Yeah.
excited in Florida. If that's something you're interested in, I will be happy to mentor you. It will cost money, so if you're looking for something free, just don't bother. I'm always willing to help anybody. There's probably a line 30, 40, 50 deep of people, reps primarily, that I've helped over the years make the transition from a store owner to a rep, from a VP of sales to a rep, from a company rep to a 1099 rep. And I'm happy to help whoever's interested in that. So,
Well, Pete, I've got a question.
sure.
Are current podcast producers for the show eligible? No, I'm just kidding.
No, absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
you
You
brought up,
got a good thing going on here, Chris Stone.
you brought up though. This is the crazy part. Is if you're not at a point where you're wanting to pay for this sort of mentorship. I mean, you've got this show, which brings on outstanding guests, each and every week. And, you make yourself available to answer any of these questions on Ask Pete. We do this once every probably 6-7 weeks or so.
Yeah.
We do this Ask Pete. So any questions you've got, I mean, you're a wide open book. And then you got the Win the Weekend that you do on Friday as well. It's, you can maybe even if you're like, well, I'm not sure I want to do this yet, join the Win the Weekend on Fridays, right? And if you're not, Pete, if you're not able to do it, RJ steps in, I know, from Jacksonville Mattress and More, Jacksonville Bedding, Mattress and More in Jacksonville. This show, is a great source for you. And again, those are things that are all free. But listen, you at some point you got to invest, right? At some point you got to go, I'm going to the MRT, I'm going to Mattress Retailer Toolkit, which is like $100 a month, and you're getting all kinds of great things that you can utilize for your store, which is just nothing. And the great tools that a lot of the smart retailers are using. But at some point you got to start investing in that. And I love the Mentor Me Pete. So again, for those that may be just listening, phone number is 419-560-3169, and just text Mentor Me Pete. And, you're going to get a legend in Pete Primeau. See how I did that, Pete? You soft sold it. You got everybody, somewhere between second and third base. I took it home, baby.
Yeah, you're body slamming people here. There's one thing that you made me think about.
Yeah.
And never ever Brent Batterman, I care about you. And guess what I got?
Look at him.
Storm
Strapping
Strap. I care about you too, Brent. Thank you. So never give money for coaching, mentorship, masterminds to somebody who does not invest in themselves.
Yep.
I can tell you I'm in 2 masterminds and I have a coach. And I'm looking for another coach. And I'm constantly being poured into. And my coaches and my marketing masterminds, those people are like elite. I mean, those are guys going to the 30, 40, $50,000 a year masterminds. I don't go that high end on my masterminds, but I have made a decision that I will learn from other people's experiences so that I don't have to learn the hard way. And I've got 44 years of experience. So some of you rookies out there, like with only, 20 years of experience, you need to invest in your career. You really do. And you need to learn from other people's mistakes, and you need to learn from other people's knowledge. And here's the thing. There's so much to know. You can't know it all. No matter how hard you try, you can't know it all.
That's
Chris, you've created podcasts for some of the most successful sales trainers in the industry. And you've been doing this for years and you still hear new things, right?
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just, you will never, just turn on the fire hose and start taking sips, ladies and gentlemen, because there's enough, there's just tons of stuff. But don't get that fear of missing out. Just enjoy it, right? And have fun. I love how you always say, sell 1 million and have fun, right? And I think it's important that when we talk about all of this stuff that you listen, if you're not having fun doing it, go find something else.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I do this, Pete, is because it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I could choose a lot of different things to do. Trust me.
Yep.
But this is fun and it's rewarding, right? And what you're doing has to be rewarding when you hear people like Brent Batterman and Scott Vaughn and Dan Jordan and these folks that are here in the chat and these other folks over the years tell you how you influenced their business and their lives, right? That's the income. Money is money. That burns in the end, but the income is what you're putting in the bank is how you're affecting people's lives. And as mattress retailers, you're helping people become better people, right? When they wake up, they're energized. They can go and do the things that they were meant to do. And that's, if you have that mindset, man, you could take that, you could not sell 1 million, sell millions with an S at the end and a slash to the top. So it looks like a dollar sign. All right. Now I'm preaching, Pete.
Yeah. Preach, Chris. So listen, I'm going to say this to you guys. If you have a question that I could answer in 2 minutes, chuck it in there really quick. If not, I'm going to say this to you. Anybody who's looking to produce a podcast, don't do it the hard way. Do it the easy way. This is basically, I have no time in this thing. 1 hour a week. Chris does all the heavy lifting. He does all the work. And he's the most overqualified podcast producer you'll ever meet in your life. Nah. This dude was a full-blooded Sony producer. Come on. Talk about overqualified. Ridiculous. Call Chris. Chris, how do people get a hold of you? Somebody
I'm
wants to do a podcast.
castahead.net. It's castahead.net. And if you want to email me at chris@castahead.net. And I'll do like Pete does. Here's my phone number, 678-231-5600. 5611. If you text me, mentor me, Chris, I'm sorry, I'm full up. But go make sure you
Can't be stealing my stuff like that, Chris. What's up with you? What's wrong with you?
Hey man, everything I learned I stole from you. Make sure you guys text Pete at 419-560-3169. Mentor me, Pete, and get ready to invest in your future. Because boy, you get to pick the brain of the legend. Pete, this was great.
Yeah, we had
almost
fun.
All the questions we had.
I want to thank Dan Jordan, Brent Batterman, and Scott Vaughn, all for chiming in.
Legend.
You guys are awesome. Chris, thank you for another great Ask Pete. And I am looking forward to seeing everybody next week. Next week, we got Steve Hauk on the show.
Ooh,
so
Boise
Steve
man.
Hauk is always a loaded pistol, and he's really loaded for bear this time. You guys are going to love that show. And for those of you who are going to be around on Friday, join me at 1:00 for Win the Weekend. It's a free mastermind Zoom call. Reps are welcome to join, as well as store owners. So guys and gals, go after Labor Day. Have fun doing it. The reason I always say have fun and sell $1 million in that order is because if you're not having fun, they ain't buying. And if you are having fun, they want to buy from you. So have fun and sell $1 million, everybody, this week. Thanks.